So I did my federal prison time at FCI Sheridan, which is a Federal Correctional Institute, which is a medium security federal prison. And when I got there, it was all during COVID. So everything was a real shit show. They had no idea what they were doing in regards to, everything was slammed down. We didn't have any action at any kind of programs. Rec was being ran like once a month. It was horrible. Eventually, once they kind of got this swing of COVID down, they started running rec. It was just, we would go with like one other unit. There was 4 main units on the yard, and there's an A and B for each unit. So there's like 8 altogether. But they would end up running 2 buildings at a time to rec. We would go up to yard, and at first it was always, the biggest problem in the feds, really, like most other places, is dope debts. That's the biggest problem, why guys are rolling it up, guys are going to the shoe. You got dudes that rack up a big dope debt, can't pay it off, and then they go in and check in. When you call somebody a check-in, that's when they go and they lock it up, or they go into the shoe, or kind of like protective custody, that type of thing. But at first, that's one of the main reasons why they weren't calling rec, is because then once everybody would come out on the yard, people had all these debts, and dudes were getting smashed off the yard. The rec, though, at FCI Sheridan was not too bad. It was pretty nice. Since it's in Oregon, they got an indoor basketball court with a track upstairs that you can run around on. So that was actually pretty nice, man. And inside this like auditorium, they had a few cardio machines. They had a few elliptical machines. They had a few stationary bikes. They also had about like 4 or 5 Stairmasters, and then they also had a few Jacob's ladders, which are like a ladder on a 45-degree angle that just keeps, like a Stairmaster, but a ladder where you're bear crawling on it. So they had some pretty good stuff there, and then also the equipment they had on the yard was pretty good. They had for a while, but they eventually started taking a lot of this stuff out. But they had like ab rollers. They had exercise bands, like resistance bands that you could use. They had a pretty good, I think it was like called a wellness program, where they had all sorts of little things that you could use. They even had a scale. They stopped letting people use it because it was getting blown out, but they had a scale that would tell you, your body composition, like your BMI, your BMR, your all that stuff, your body fat percentage, etc. But it was actually pretty not bad yard. Then you go outside, and they have a track, of course, and then they had a few basketball courts, a few handball courts, of course. They had some pull-up bars, dip bars, and they had an over covering because it rains a lot out there, and so you'd still be able to do some workouts and stuff that were covered up from the rain if you were outside. But pretty good yard, not too bad. I was out there with Big Meech. He runs a good program. We'd always just be up there. We each have our own pull-up bars. He'd be hitting his pull-up bar, I'd be hitting mine. There'd be a row of dudes hitting it back and forth. But yeah, the biggest thing with Sheridan, man, is just dudes with these dope debts, man. It's just retarded. It's like, a big thing out there is spice. You got all these dudes smoking that spice. That K2, people put it on, they spray paper and send it into the facility, and you get guys turned out on that stuff, man. Guys end up epiing out. You call epiing out, what that means is like they're having a psychotic episode. Dudes end up freaking out. They'll like smoke that shit, and they literally like freak out. They'll start running. This one dude smoked some shit. They like take it, and they take some razors and some batteries, and they put it on the razor and the battery, and so these dudes' fingers are all peeled back, look like crackheads and shit. And so this one dude, it's one time we're in the unit, smoked some shit, and he like runs down to the front of the unit, and we're like locked in the unit, and he goes and hits the buzzer and just starts screaming, ah, ah. And the CO comes down, and like, I don't know what happened, but the CO somehow like gets in front of this dude, opens the door, and the dude goes running out, and like you can look through the cells and see this dude goes running and like jumps face first into the grass, like the grass hill, and just like starts rolling around and shit. Man, it's all bad, dude. So you got dudes tripping, doing that stuff. I mean, the units are pretty off the chain too. You got dudes in there playing cards, playing dice. Everybody in there is doing something to try and make some money. Dudes are either, making shine. They're fixing radios, tailoring clothes. I think some of the paisas come up with some of the craziest stuff, man. This paisa, he one time made me a vase with some flowers that are all made out of paper, man. The whole thing was like paper mache, weaved up. And it turned out to be like a vase and then like a dozen roses. And then they make a big box to put it in. Put a bunch of flat book stamps on it and send it out and send it home. So that was cool. My mom actually still has that till today. But that's just a little brief something about Sheridan. I'm gonna keep running these videos talking about my federal prison time, my LA County jail time. I got 3 state terms in the county because they're all nonviolent. Did a lot of time in Supermax out at Wayside. Been to every facility out there, medium north, medium south, East Max. They shut East Max down while I was there at one point in time to turn that into like a pre-fire camp. Got sent there, got kicked out of there. Been downtown, Men's Central, Old County, Twin Towers. Done time in San Diego County Jail out by George Bailey. Was there also in Orange County Jail at Theo Lacey facility when I was waiting to get sentenced by the feds. So stay tuned, follow, make some comments, likes, comment what you want to see, what you want to hear about. I don't care. I just tell it like it is. I just tell my story, man. Hopefully others can learn from my journey, the suffering that I've gone through, and can learn to make better choices in life. What I do today now is I work with men. I have an online program. You can check me out on IG. My handle's unchained_fit. Check me out on IG, hit me up. I got a program. I help dudes overcome addictions, habits, incorporate good, healthy new ones. It's tied in with fitness and nutrition. Help dudes get in good shape, get jacked, lead their family from the front. And just that's just how I operate today. So this is what I'm doing, is just sharing my testimony to help give back, help others learn from my mistakes. I don't support any of that stuff anymore. I don't mess around. I'm 6.5 years clean, about to terminate federal probation early, and life is really good. So I've just made an investment in myself, and it's paid dividends. I've turned my whole life around, and now I help others do the same. So that's what's up. Check me out. Follow for more value. Let's get it.